Every day, young athletes train for something they can't see. They train without certainty, and some look around and see teammates with a fire. And they assume they're watching something they don't have access to. Like passion was handed out and they just happen to miss it. But meaning is not distributed, it's created. This is where players stop waiting to feel it and start deciding it matters. Where becoming is a choice. Where ordinary work becomes extraordinary on purpose. Welcome to the Lacrosse Academy. The theme of today is you make the meaning. Passion isn't given, it's chosen. There's just this apathetic posture to someone who has the thought of, I'm not the type of person who trains with that kind of passion. But you are. You're there, you exist. You were in the same place they were, meaning in time. But that player next to you, who trains with fire, didn't unlock something that you don't have access to. They made a decision from the same place you're standing. Similar to great men throughout history, they didn't stumble into significance. They declared it. They said, my name will mean something. And then they lived like it was going to be true. You have that same power. Not because you earned it, not because you felt it first, but because you are already there. You're already capable of making that choice. You have an at-bat. You have a life. And from that, everything else flows. You make the meaning of this moment. You make the meaning of your training. And you can start making it today. Stop waiting to feel passion. Stop watching others and wondering why it comes easy to them. It doesn't come easy. It just comes from a decision that they have already made. Decide that this rep matters. Decide that today counts. Decide that your name is going to mean something and train like it's true. Okay, great Tuesday, Wednesday, one of the days. It's Tuesday. Great Tuesday. And it's super important for players to know this. The conditions for it being considered great does not mean you have to leave believing or thinking, I'm the best, I had the greatest day ever, no one could stop me, I'm perfect. You can leave upset, frustrated, hungry, unsatisfied. And that, I think, is more equal to having a great day. There's this one thing where someone would watch someone's behavior and be like, wow, they can just live with no shame. Shame is a blessing. Being convicted that there is something more out there is a blessing. And there's something Harrison and I never want to take for granted, and we talk about all the time. It's something we're grateful for. We have passionate players, like players that often, not every day, but once or twice a week, you can see tears welling up in their eyes because it means so much to them. And it's honestly, the passion is beautiful because the passion is what drives life. There's kind of this modern stoicism repression of the passions where the opposite, the Christian belief is the passions are beautiful and they're a necessary driving force. They just have to be guided correctly. So Harrison and I in no way during training will check emotions in a bad way. We'll always make sure they're oriented towards the right thing. That's the key. That draws the distinction between good passions, bad passions. They have to be oriented towards the right thing. So that's what makes it a good day. Passions, the energy was there, the passion was going in the right direction, and at the same time, players were learning. There's always, during the day, during a training session, a fork in the road. I go one way and make compromises, I go the other and decide to keep fighting. I hold on to a standard, and though I know I'm not there yet, I hold on to it and I keep fighting for it. And it's so awesome when you see players make those decisions during a training session to go one way or the other, and they keep choosing the harder road. They keep climbing uphill. It's incredible. The last thing I'll say, which is something to audit in the environments you're in, is what standard comes naturally. Obviously, you always have to fight to find growth. You always have to fight, but there's a lot of choices that are made when it comes to effort that kind of show who you are. And what I mean by that is if someone came to our training session, especially tonight, I was thinking about this driving home, they would think, wow, these kids just work. They work hard. And the coaches, Harrison and I, aren't really doing a lot of screaming. We remind every now and then, hey, go, you don't need to watch the whole rep. Hey, go, you don't need to watch the whole rep. We say that a little bit, but there's not like we're down on our knees saying, come on, care. Why don't you care? Why don't you try hard? And there's a reason for that, and it's taken time. But effort and trying hard and caring is just who our players are. It is their actual being. It's adopted and become who they are. So the choice to show up and try, the choice to show up and care, the choice to show up and put effort in, it seems natural, but it's the only choice they really know because it's who they are. And I'm not a Thomist, but it's my recent area of study, meaning Thomas Aquinas, and it's opened my eyes up in an incredible way of that who you are precedes the choices you make. People think that your choices are who you are, and you're constantly making choices that define who you are. No, who you are is the one making the choices, so what you should be obsessed with is becoming someone who is naturally and effortlessly making the right choices. And in a training session, that means be someone who naturally steps on the field and just wants to try. But it's not like forced. It's just who you are. And it's something we've talked about unconsciously the last 2 or 3 years, which is just reminding players, hey, this is who you are. Who you are is someone who cares. Who you are is someone who wants to be in the fight. That's who you are. And when you understand your being precedes choices, you really, again, Harrison and I's life mission, essentially, the dedication to the person in the mirror is essentially your insurance policy and just hoping you're making the right choices or you're doing the right things in environments. And it's definitely not easy for our players to just show up and grind when it's 12 degrees, we leave, it's 9 degrees, but that's just who they are. And it's a pretty beautiful thing, something we're never going to take for granted, but it's awesome. And tonight was more evidence of how not great we've got it, but how special our players are. It's pretty amazing. And hopefully we can highlight that in a way that honors them, because it's been special to watch. And I think we've 4 more weeks left until spring 2026. And I have a feeling it's going to blow everyone's expectations away of just the success our players can have and will have. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm very excited. But great night. Keep crushing. You can't lose the fight if you just stay in it. Keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. See ya.